All right, so we're back for our third video of the day. We are triple uploading today, boys. We are going in. MLB The Show dropped a lot of content today. I already talked about the roster update in one of my previous videos today. I talked about the new content that came out with the new rewards, new moments, and all that type of stuff. So if you're interested in all that, go check out the previous videos. This one is going to be focused exclusively on the patch notes for patch 1.11. So this patch actually went live this morning, so this is in the game right now. You should see the effects of it in gameplay today. And just off reading the initial patch notes, I haven't played a game or anything yet, and I haven't heard much about people playing the game. You got to give it some time and get a sample size for it. But the patch notes, like this patch, looks a lot like the patch that people have been asking for. We've gotten some patches in the past weeks that have addressed some issues that definitely needed addressing, but this one is really focusing directly on the issues that a lot of people have, or at least the vocal people have on Twitter and Reddit and stuff like that. So if you're unaware of what the main issue that a lot of people have is for the game, it pretty much stems mostly from the higher difficulties. So if you're playing on All-Star, Veteran, maybe a little Hall of Fame, you might not always see this type of stuff. It might not be as apparent to you, but if you're playing on Legend, it probably is going to. So basically the main concern that a lot of people have with the game right now is that exit velocities are not making sense, especially on Legend difficulties. If you play in a World Series matchup, you're playing on Legend, most of the time, if you square up a ball, the exit velocity is not going to be as high as a lot of people feel like it should be. Legend difficulty is already difficult enough with the faster pitch speeds and the smaller PCIs. When you actually get good user input and you actually square up a ball with a good hitter, the exit velocities should not be as low as they should. And home runs per 9 now having an effect on online play, that may be a cause for some of this, just harder difficulty and not finely tuned. There's a lot of different ways that it could be going, but for the most part, these patch notes seem to be addressing this stuff and some other issues too that a lot of people had as well. So let's go ahead and talk about the patch notes right here. I will leave a link to the Show Nation article down in the description if you guys want to go check the patch notes out for yourself. But as of right now, we're going to talk about this. This is live in the game right now. So this is Game Update 1.11 notes. The first segment is going to be about gameplay, and it says, adjustments made to exit velocities in Diamond Dynasty. High power batters should now see a higher average exit velocity. Okay, so just off that, they're going after that issue. High power batters should now see a high average exit velocity. So there's a couple of key things to keep in mind with that phrase. High power batters. So this doesn't mean everybody. A guy like Alomar. Well, actually, I don't know, because what's the cutoff for high power? Is it like 75 and above? Is it 80 and above? I feel like there should be a little bit more description there on what exactly high power means. But middle of the road powers, I would say like 50 to 60 guys probably won't really see an impact from this. Contact guys should kind of just be working the same way. And it says they should now see a higher average exit velocity. So this doesn't mean you're going to be, hitting 115 mile an hour rockets every single at bat, but it should, in theory, keep the average up. So you should not be getting 88 mile an hour shallow flyouts to center field when you square up the ball perfectly with Frank Thomas. Things along those lines, okay? So just keep that in mind. It doesn't mean that every swing is going to be good. It just means that the average exit velocity should be a little bit higher. Okay. Next up, addressed an issue where the catcher throw meter would not display upon initial button press when using button accuracy. So this is a huge exploit that's been in the game, or a huge bug, I guess I should say, that people have been exploiting. You can pretty much run all over people in this game on the base paths, especially if the opponent is using button accuracy, because sometimes, I know you guys have had it happen to you. You're sitting there, you're throwing the pitch, the guy takes off, and then you can't throw to second because the meter never shows up. It never pops up. And you can't, your guy does a little hitch and he's just standing there, and then you have to press triangle and then he'll throw it, and then by that time it's way too late, especially with a speedy runner. So you can have been exploiting that for, the first 2 months of the game. So I'm happy that is now fixed. So it should be completely gone now. You shouldn't have an issue to where your catcher meter won't show up when you go to throw somebody out running the second or third or whatever. All right, next up. Preloaded throws will now transfer when switching players. Thank God, man. I cannot tell you how many doubles have been stretched into triples. When somebody hits it in the gap, it goes to the wall. I'm controlling maybe the right fielder, but the center fielder kind of gets there first, and I've already got the throw preloaded with the right fielder, and then the center fielder picks it up, and he's just standing there. The throw doesn't get preloaded to the other fielder. It just is preloaded for that specific fielder. So then the guy is able to take another base because I have to get that slow animation of them like picking up the ball, doing the little hitch, and then throwing it. People can take third on you all day long. So I'm happy that that's gone. And I think that is going to be for everywhere, not just outfielders, because it has happened in the infield sometimes when like it's a ball hit to third base and it's like right in the hole between the third baseman and the shortstop. I'll have the throw preloaded with the third baseman, but then it goes past him and the shortstop ends up getting it, and then I can't throw the ball right off the rip. I got to, do the meter all over again. So hopefully that's good for all fielders. All right. Next up, we've got wind speed set to 0 in Battle Royale, events, and ranked seasons. Hallelujah. Oh my God. That is like music to my ears. Okay, so wind is in the game. I understand wind is a real part of baseball. You can't control the wind when you go out and play. It might be windy, it might not. The wind might be blowing out, might be blowing in, whatever it is. It's a part of baseball. But it does not need to be in the game in a competitive aspect. If you want to keep it on Road to the Show, franchise, offline modes, by all means, that's fantastic. Do whatever you want to do. But in a competitive setting, wind should not have an impact because it's just completely random. Sometimes it'll be blowing 11 miles an hour in. Sometimes it'll be blowing 5 miles an hour out. Sometimes it'll be blowing to right field. Like, it doesn't have a place in a competitive environment because it's random. You can't control it. You can't choose to turn it off. You're just stuck with whatever you got. And a lot of the times, especially with exit velocities already being as low as they are on legend difficulty, you add that mixed with, wind blowing in, you're going to see a 1-0 game all the time, and it's going to be because a guy got a bloop hit down the line or something like that. So wind should not be in competitive modes. And the other thing is that, like, we can't even turn wind off in, like, friendlies and stuff like that. So, that's just the fact that it's out in the competitive online play is amazing. Thank goodness. Next up, slightly decrease the opacity of the PCI. I didn't know the PCI was too bright. I don't know if maybe they're just doing this to test something. I don't know. But the PCI, the opacity has been decreased, so that's okay. So it's just kind of a visual thing. Shouldn't have an issue on anything else. All right, there's a Road to the Show one. Fixed an issue where training ladder would skip and not award the user with any trading points. I don't really play a lot of Road to the Show, so yeah. All right, under miscellaneous, what do we got here? Fixed an issue where users would get stuck in the lineup screen in Battle Royale, which would result in a loss. Ooh, that is good. That is good. Okay, so I don't know if you guys, I've definitely seen it. I've never gotten a loss for it, but I've definitely been in those situations. You guys know when you search for a game, you hit start when the pitching, your rotation's there, and then it chooses the random pitcher, and then it goes to the lineup, and then you press start, and it says like ready, and then opponent ready, and then it'll start the game. Sometimes it'll get stuck where it says opponent ready and you're ready, and at that point, you can't really do anything. The game's kind of like locked in there. It's basically like it's frozen almost, but you can still like press start and stop and stuff like that. You just can't get out of that screen. And a lot of people, they get stuck in that screen, and then they try to back out. They'll close out of their app or whatever, and then they'll come back, and they'll see that they actually got a loss. They didn't even get to the actual game. They didn't even get to the loading lineup screen. They just get a loss for being stuck in that little, lineup selection screen. So that kind of sucks, and I'm happy that that's gone. That shouldn't be an issue anymore. Anytime those little like cheesy things happen in BR that results in loss for people, just not good stuff. So that's a good fix that is in the game. All right. Set rewards are now being rewarded correctly in the shelfie moments. So a lot of people have tweeted at me. A lot of people have asked me, hey, I completed the shelfie moments, but I never got my 90 overall Cliff Lee. What gives? SDS said they're working on it, trying to figure it out. And so now it should be there. So I don't know if you have to just go into your inventory and Cliff Lee will be there, or if you have to do something else. It should just be there. But for anybody that wasn't getting their Cliff Lee, it should be in your inventory now, or at least you should be available or it should be available to get. All right, so next up, updated several stadiums that were ruling certain hits incorrectly. Stadiums adjusted included Fenway, Tropicana, Chase, Old Miami, and Polo Grounds. Didn't really know if there were any issues there. I didn't really experience any weird things going on as far as hit types not being rewarded with the ground rules of the park. So that if you experience that, that's good. I just didn't know about it. And then general UI text and spacing adjustments, so just more visual stuff. Yeah, okay, so I haven't played a game yet online. I haven't, tested out the patch or anything like that. But just off reading this, these are the complaints and the issues that the community have. Now, whether or not this completely fixes everything, I don't think the catcher meter is going to be anything we have to worry about anymore. Preloaded throws, shouldn't have to worry about that anymore. The people are always going to have an issue when it comes to the hitting in Diamond Dynasty or online play. People are going to feel like they should be rewarded for a lot more than what they actually should be rewarded for. But if you're getting good, perfect user input on legend difficulties, you should at least see exit velocities that correlate to that input. Whether or not you get a hit or it's just a line out, whatever, as long as the exit velocity makes sense, you're doing everything right. So if the exit velocity isn't making sense, if you're getting screwed for squaring up balls and you're getting sub 90 exit velocities on a fly out to center field, whereas your opponent is getting jammed weak hits that pop over the first and second baseman's head, and they end up winning the game out of that can be very frustrating. So hopefully these adjustments, hopefully this patch is kind of the patch that a lot of people are looking for and a lot of people can feel good about, because, when everybody's happy about the game's just better overall. There's going to be some people that just hate on the game to hate on the game. Some people, they're going to be upset to just be upset. But, if you give it a chance and you actually try out the patch and you make your own opinion on it, it might do you some good. So yeah, hopefully this patch is the one that everybody has been waiting for. It should be at least a good step in that direction, if not completely there. I'm really excited about the catcher throw meter popping up now in preloaded throws and the win being at 0. I really like everything they've said in this patch. So hopefully it actually translates well into the game. But down in the comments, let me know what you think. Are you guys excited for this patch? Do you think it's going to be good, bad? Have you played with it? What are your opinions? Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Drop a thumbs up if you enjoyed. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.